A beautiful welcome to Hope Channel Zambia Media that changes lives. Thank you so much for joining us on the main news bulletin. Let's take a look at stories that are making headlines. Over 6,000 farmers in Southern Province suffer setbacks due to prolonged dry spells. CIMIT to supply irrigation and agricultural equipment to farmers in Southern Province. ZICTA concerned over increased number of scammers in the country. Police warns against illegal checkpoints, and East Zambia Field ordains 4 gospel workers. A lot more stories coming up shortly.
Welcome to Emmanuel Adventist Secondary School.
Emmanuel Adventist Secondary School is enrolling pupils for the 2024 academic year in junior and senior secondary education. This educational institution is a co-Christian boarding school run by the Seventh-day Adventist Church and offers grade 8 to 12 education. Located on the outskirts, 5 kilometers north of Chisamba town in Central Province of Zambia, Chisamba District Education Board ranks the school 3rd in academic performance in the district. With our conducive and learner-friendly environment, our pupils are able to excel tremendously in their academic journey.
Distance along a latitude, which is a small circle. So what formula do we use?
Our learners are imparted with vast knowledge in practical agricultural production units that will help them become entrepreneurs when they leave school.
My name is Shoma Sifukwe. I'm in grade 10B and I take agriculture. We grow crops so that we can provide for the school and supply for those that come here around to also buy them so that we can also earn a living.
They proudly bring their children to our school. They believe in the quality of education that is offered here.
We encourage you to bring your children to Emmanuel Adventist Secondary School. You have tried the rest. Try the best now.
For more details, you can contact us on 0976261285 or 0979908216, or you can email us on Emmanuel Adventist Secondary School @gmail.com. Emmanuel Adventist Secondary School, training the head, the heart, and the hand.
Thank you so much for joining us with the main news bulletin. My name is MUYANGA. Over 60,000 farmers engaged in crop sustainable intensification practices aimed at increasing crop productivity and production in Southern Province have suffered setbacks to the negative impact of climate change. International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center cropping system agronomist Dr. Christian Thifelder says the diversification strategies of intercropping maize and legumes have been affected by the dry spells. Dr. Thifelder observed that the diversification strategies on farming trials help to mitigate the risk of climate change, have suffered setbacks in which maize registered too much stress due to prolonged dry spells. He pointed out the fact that farmers are practicing sustainable intensification practices through the support from the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, CIMIT, Ukama Ustawi and Sustainable Intensification of Smallholder Farming Systems, FAS, funded by the European Union in Choma, Monze and Mazabuka. We have more details in this report.
Over 60,000 farmers engaged in sustainable intensification practices aimed at increasing crop productivity and production in Southern Province have suffered setbacks due to the negative impact of climate change. International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center cropping system agronomist Dr. Christian Thifelder says the diversification strategies that help to mitigate the risk of climate change have suffered setbacks in which maize registered much stress due to prolonged dry spells. The affected farmers are practicing sustainable intensification practices through the support from the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, Ukami Ustawi and Sustainable Intensification of Smallholder Farming Systems, CIFAS, funded by the European Union in Choma, Monze and Mazabuka.
Great technologies, conservation agriculture and other climate-smart agriculture technologies fail when the rainfall becomes too low. But there's hope. Some of the plots that we have been seeing, if they get a good rain shower in the next few days, they can still survive and produce something.
And Southern Province Agriculture Coordinator Dr. Max Chombe says strip cropping on-farm trials are used by combining maize and legumes through crop intensification and conservation agriculture to conserve moisture.
We are practicing conservation agriculture in all the trials, and it has shown that it is better to practice, especially in Southern Province, which is proving to be a dry province, compared to the other provinces like the Northern, where the rains are enough.
Dr. Klaus Dropman is CIMMYT consultant.
Most striking thing that we've seen is the effect of the drought the past 4 to 5 weeks in some places, and that it had the effect that it had on the crops. In some places it has been terrible. Those plant populations are also under severe stress, and we fear that we lose the harvest on the maize.
Reporting, Lawrence Kabutu in Monze, Southern Province.
Southern region of Zambia, several smallholder farmers in Southern Province have bemoaned the prolonged dry spells that have resulted in crop failure during the 2023-2024 farming season. The farmers have, however, commended government for delivering inputs on time aimed at ensuring household and national food security. For Impande of Mazabuga district says government should assist farmers as they have registered crop failure devastated by prolonged dry spells. Mr. Mpande has, however, noted that the field where he reaped using a tractor, drone reaper, has produced maize crop that has matured despite the dry spells. He told the National Agricultural Information Services that irrigation and conservation agriculture is the answer to dry spells. The farmers in Choma, Pemba, Monze and Mazabuga expressed fear for the looming hunger that will affect them and called on government to come to their aid. Sastina Mwinga of Pemba district says that despite planting early, applying fertilizer and spending colossal sums of money for seed, the rainfall pattern has been very poor, resulting in permanent wilting of their crops. And Charles Mwinga of Magoe area in Mazabuga says after applying top dressing on 13th January, the rain stopped culminating in maize and other crops getting destroyed due to permanent wilting. We still have details in this report.
Several smallholder farmers in Southern Province have bemoaned the prolonged dry spells that have resulted in crop failure during the 2023-2024 agricultural season.
We have failed. We are not going to get even anything. So as usual, we have to cry to our parents. That's the government.
The farmers, however, commended government for delivering inputs on time to ensure household and national food security. The farmers in Choma, Pemba, Monza and Mazabuka expressed fear for the looming hunger that will affect them and called on government to come to their aid. The farmers noted that despite planting early, applying fertilizer and spending colossal sums of money for seed, the rainfall pattern has been very poor, resulting in permanent wilting of their crops in certain districts.
I think fertilizer water kubikirwa mulo inyonse yaga unkahola tiwaga ugwa usigira mbwali wawa.
Irrigation, conservation agriculture using reapers, and mulching of fields using crop residues are answers to prolonged dry spells.
He did the reaping for us. It was really deep, it was nice. So much that even when we didn't have enough rain, water storage ability was not bad, it was good.
Reporting, Lawrence Kabutu in Mazabuka, Southern Province.
Still looking on agricultural matters, the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, CIMMYT, through the Ukama Ostawi project, is considering to supply irrigation equipment to farmers in Southern Province to cushion the negative effects of climate change. CIMMYT mechanization specialist Dr. Abu Martin says the equipment that include irrigation pumps, pipes, solar panels, and construction Boreholes, among others, will be given as loans to be paid in installments or in kind by beneficiary farmers. Dr. Martin stated that the Ukama Ustawi project is being implemented in Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Kenya, and Ethiopia. He said the project is also promoting mechanization services centers among farmers who are supplied with agricultural equipment and machinery. Dr. Martin says the small and low-cost machinery include two-wheeled tractors, trailers, threshers, shellers, sprayers, and reapers. Loris Kabutu still has more details on this.
The International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, CIMIT, through the Ukama Ustawi project, is considering to supply irrigation equipment to farmers in Southern Province to cushion the negative effects of climate change. CIMIT mechanization specialist Dr. Abdul Martin says the equipment that include irrigation pumps, pipes, and boreholes, among others, will be given as loans to be paid in installments or in kind by beneficiary farmers.
These machinery are being promoted as a service provider model under the Ukama Ustawi project. Ukama Ustawi is a CZIR initiative being implemented in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, Kenya, and Ethiopia.
Dr. Martin stated that the Ukama Ustawi project is being implemented in Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Kenya, and Ethiopia. And CIMIT irrigation engineer Nelly Nkowani says the project is also promoting mechanization service among farmers who are supplied with agricultural equipment and machinery.
Mechanization is a business. It's not just for his farm, but we would like for him to go out and earn an income out of it. So he's going to highlight how he's been working with them and how he's just using them.
Maxon Habene is a mechanization service provider.
iuveresi wangu mbwevereka uliga votu isienda kwambana kuvereka kwinda mbwenivereka ng'ombe ronse. Only the challenges ni hulabo yatakatiani yatakachitaka votu.
Reporting, Lawrence Kabutu in Monze, Southern Province.
Now, 700 households in Sioma district are expected to receive farming inputs under the Food Security Pack, FSP, as the government has initiated the component of wetland cropping. The Community Development Officer for Sioma district, Good Hope Kaputo, expressed gratitude to the government as this activity will support farmers to be food secure as long as dry spells have hit the district. Meanwhile, the agricultural coordinator for Sioma district, Robin Makai, stated that the Ministry of Agriculture will enable the right farming practices to be used to ensure good yield production. You are watching the main news on Hope Channel Zambia, media that changes lives. Nyimba District Commissioner hands over a motorbike to the veterinary department. This is coming up shortly after this break.
Continue to spread love this February with Topstar and enjoy affordable entertainment. For a monthly subscription of 180 kwacha on Antenna Classic OD Smart, experience the excitement of the Bundesliga title race on Saturday the 24th as trailing Bayern faces Leipzig at 19:30 hours live on World Football. But there is more. Fantasy becomes reality with Novella E+, premiering My Forever Sunshine, airing from 27th at 21:30 hours. Also follow love and passion as it crosses paths in a family affair every day at 20:40 hours. Entertain the little ones with great kids shows on Boeing, CBBS, and ST Kids, plus more. Subscribe now. Topstar. Enjoy digital life.
Welcome to Emmanuel Adventist Secondary School.
Emmanuel Adventist Secondary School is enrolling pupils for the 2024 academic year in junior and senior secondary education. This educational institution is a co-Christian boarding school run by the Seventh-day Adventist Church and offers grade 8 to 12 education. Located on the outskirts, 5 kilometers north of Chisamba town in Central Province of Zambia, Chisamba District Education Board ranks the school third in academic performance in the district. With our conducive and learner-friendly environment, our pupils are able to excel tremendously in their academic journey.
distance along a latitude, which is a small circle. So what formula do we use?
Our learners are impacted with vast knowledge in practical agricultural production units that will help them become entrepreneurs when they leave school.
My name is Shoma Sifukwe. I'm in grade 10B and I take agriculture. We grow crops so that we can provide for the school and supply for those that come here around to also buy them so that we can also earn a living here.
They proudly bring their children to our school. They believe in the quality of education that is offered here.
We encourage you to bring your children to MUYANGA Adventist Secondary School. You have tried the rest, try the best now.
For more details, you can contact us on 0976261285 or 0979908216, or you can email us on emmanueladventistsecondary@gmail.com. Emmanuel Adventist Secondary School, training the head, the heart, and the hand.
Thank you so much for still staying with us. The news continues. Nyimba District Commissioner Paul Daka has handed over a motorbike to the veterinary department whose vehicle has been unfunctional for some time now. Mr. Daka says this will help mitigate the transport challenge that are being experienced in the area. Receiving the donation, District Coordinator for Fisheries and Livestock, Shepherd James Peary, has disclosed that the donation will go a long way and has promised to take care of it.
Enough compared to the number of acres which we have here in Nyimba, but it's a beginning, and I think we shall endeavor continue to make sure that we procure more motorbikes so that we have got enough, so that at the end of the day you are able to execute your duties accordingly. Because without transport, it will be very, very difficult for you move around and execute your job. The government, we are also aware that under Ministry of Livestock,
our message is just to be grateful to the government for recognizing Nyimba, because of late had a lot of challenges in terms of transport, but here we are. I think the Department of Veterinary Services has received this motorbike. This motorbike will go a long way in helping farmers deal with a number of challenges they are facing in terms of livestock, vis-a-vis livestock diseases. So we are very grateful, and we would like to promise that we're going to use and put into use, this particular motorbike that is given to us. The DC has already officially given to us, the Department of Veterinary Services, and we are very, very grateful. It's going to go a long way so far as helping farmers in the areas is concerned. My appeal to the Department of Veterinary Services is to ensure that they help farmers and never use this motorbike for personal issues. It's a motorbike that government has seen a gap that has been filled in terms of transport, and for that we appreciate. Thank you.
Now, Zambia Information Communication Technology Authority, ZICTA, says there has been increase in the number of scammers across the country and that a lot of people have fallen victim. Speaking during a stakeholders meeting at Eliboma Lodge in Petauke District, ZICTA Manager for Consumer and Protection and Compliance, Edgar Mlauzi, says many people have fallen victim to digital mobile money scams due to lack of adequate information. Mr. Mlauzi says the authority and Zambia Central Bank are doing everything possible to curb the vice and that fraudsters will be brought to book.
Zambians are currently experiencing financial scams through mobile money transactions, as this business is booming and resulting to many consumers making use of the digital transactions. Many people have fallen victims to mobile money scams as they lose a lot of money through such vices. Petauke district in Eastern Province has not been spared by scamming activities. And now a team of officers from Zambia Information and Communication Technology Authority ZICTA are in Petauke to interact with local people. The authority notes that there has been an increased number of scammers in the country and a lot of people have fallen victims.
We are here in Petauke district to come and interact for a stakeholder consultative meeting so that we also update the residents of Petauke on a number of progress which has been made by ZICTA in terms of looking at ICT development. On this other aspect, we're also looking at in terms of issues around scams. We've seen that actually there's been an exponential increase in scams where most of the people are falling victims to scams. So we came to educate the residents of Petauke. Public forum has been very successful because we've received insightful feedback from most of the participants, and this feedback actually is also going to help us actually come up with other strategies. Mainly it was around the reporting channels. The people here, they did not know where to report some of these instances of fraud, whether is it Bank of Zambia, is it Zambia Police or ZICTA. So I've provided that clarity and even how the residents can better protect themselves. We had issues around poor quality of service in some parts of Petauke. I think this one will ensure that actually a quality of service team of engineers come to investigate this aspect. We've got some areas where there's a poor network coverage. Probably these are areas which are unsaved and underserved areas.
Officers from Central Bank of Zambia were also in attendance.
We encourage people to make sure that their pins are safe, that they always make sure that they are operating with the parties that are known. When they're sending funds, make sure that the name that pops up at the end of the transaction is the place where you're sending the transaction through. Even as we are working with ZICTA throughout the country, we all encourage our members to make sure that should you face any challenges, do get in touch with the central bank when it's something to do with mobile money platforms, and when it's something to do with the technology platforms, you get in touch with ZICTA.
Petauke District Administrative Officer Vincent Chiuye said the honest program by ZICTA will assist the local people to avoid falling victims to scamming activities.
So with ZICTA coming on board to understand the challenges, we hope that some investment will come in terms of infrastructure, ICT infrastructure, to enable our people in the various outlying areas in the district benefit from the digital services that have been offered. Obviously, this meeting was also very important because we've been guided on the many procedures that we may wish or we must take in the event that our people are targeted by scammers.
Petauke Chamber of Commerce and Industry President Wilson Piri says a lot of local people have been scammed due to lack of knowledge and awareness by ZICTA.
The main worry is on these technologies. I don't know why these scammers are above Bank of Zambia and ZICTA. Because you find most of these technologies, you are bringing them, these guys are already above you. Is there no any other method how we can actually bring these scammers down? Most of the complaints which are done around Petauke, you find they don't go anywhere. Most of our clients or our business person, they don't even actually leave a complaints to ZICTA or to a relevant authority.
Authorities from ZICTA also interacted with local people through a radio phone-in program at Petauke Express Radio, where they advise consumers to avoid responding to suspected scam messages.
Nonera message yauti na winandra magomalomba drama hiyo ndio fuike somba mke ukanga na eve no vala simkati. Ndio ani ndio penai kuke simkati otia.
Sambo David, Petauke, Eastern Province.
Police have unearthed a scam in which some youths in Chief Muchinda's chiefdom in Serenje district have set up illegal checkpoints. Central Province Police Commissioner Charity Munganga says the illegal checkpoint has been dismantled. Ms. Munganga says this follows earlier reports that the youths in question had established an illegal checkpoint where they were collecting revenue. She says the youths were allegedly collecting between 1,500 and 2,500 from kwacha from truck drivers. Meanwhile, Ms. Munganga has dispelled reports that subjects of Muchinda's chiefdom scampered when police officers met Chief Muchinda over reports of illegal checkpoints erected by some youths in his chiefdom. She says police have had a fruitful discourse with Chief Muchinda on the need to stop the mounting of illegal checkpoints in his chiefdom. Ms. Munganga says that youths were sensitized not to take advantage of illegal mining activities to erect illegal checkpoints. She has advised the youths to instead report illegal mining activities to the police and Ministry of Mines. Meanwhile, police in Lusaka have detained former Patriotic Front Publicity Secretary Raphael Nakachinda for disobedience of statutory duties. Mr. Nakachinda, aged 45, is accused of publishing false information to the public that pre-marked ballots had been dispatched to Lusangazi, Mukushi, and Mwense by-elections on 4 November 2022. This is contrary to the Penal Code, Chapter 87, Section 128 of the laws of Zambia, and this action is in connection with Section 18(1) B and F of the Electoral Commission of Zambia, Act number 25 of 2016. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga has confirmed this development in a statement made available to Hope News that the detention was made due to failing to comply with the lawful summons that were issued by the Electoral Commission of Zambia between November 4 and 7, 2022 rather. Mr. Hamonga says Mr. Nakachinda will be charged and will soon appear in court. Now, finally, in our news today, Southern Zambia Union Conference President Dr. Vani Munyumbwe has called on gospel ministers to stop the tendency of aiming for positions in church once ordained. Dr. Munyumbwe says gospel ministers are ordained for a mission, not for positions in church. He says their core value is to render a service to the weary hearts and prepare people for the kingdom of God. Meanwhile, East Zambia Field President Pastor Thomas Njovu says it is gratifying to see increased numbers of ordained pastors. Among the ordained pastors, 2 are police chaplains from Chipata Central Divisions. We have details in this report.
They have been ordained for a mission and charged to save.
Take heed therefore unto yourself and to all the flock over which the Holy Ghost hath actually made you overseer. Feed the church of God, which he has purchased with his own blood. Acts chapter 20, verse 28.
Southern Zambia Union Conference President Dr. Van Munyumbwe has called on newly ordained gospel ministers in East Zambia Field to equip the saints for the service rather than aiming for position in church.
It's an affirmation that this man has been called by God to full-time service as a gospel minister. That is not to say that now that you are ordained, pastor must be, aiming for that position or the other. We are ordained to serve the church in whatever role that the Lord has called you. So I urge all my fellow ministers out there that let's focus on what God has called us to do, and that is to equip the saints for service. These are the things that come as you are requested by the church. And many times we can be derailed. We lose our vision and our sense of calling. I pray that we will always remember that God called us to serve his people, prepare them for service, and prepare them for his soon coming.
East Zambia Field President Pastor Thomas Njovu is happy that the number of ordained gospel ministers has increased.
Actually, it gives us great pleasure to actually increase the number of ministers who are ordained, because it actually relieves those who are already ordained, because East Zambia Field has had very few pastors ordained, and because of that, we find that the work is actually taxing for those who are ordained. They're able to move great distances to cover districts which are manned by pastors who are not yet ordained. Now, with that increase, it means the work becomes lighter, and added to that, even the budget is not strained.
Meanwhile, the newly ordained gospel ministers are happy with the ordination and praised to touch men's souls.
Focus and even that it should be much more wider, because the duties that come with ordination become much more than the limited capacity that we had when we were not ordained. So I just pray that the Lord himself will help me to catch up with the more things that we ought to be doing as leaders in this field. And
really today, I just want to express my unmerited joy for such an occasion that has happened today, that has made this day extraordinary, the ordination. I understand that today God has made me to be his agenda entirely. And the only thing that is supposed to be done is to give all the credit and honor to the one who has actually allowed us to be ordained today. Otherwise, as for me, today, it just begins a journey of me humbling myself and also helping the church in order to bring the bigger picture, who is Jesus, closer to the people.
To be accorded to be an ordained minister, I appreciate for the entire church for according me a chance to serve God, because this one has been a calling from my childhood. I loved so much the work of God, and today it has come to be fulfilled. As a result, I am very excited and being given the first privilege to baptize people today for the first time ever since I was born. You know, I look forward to say that when am I going to participate in adding more numbers to the people who are going to be baptized.
Just after ordination, they were greeted and welcomed by baptism candidates at Lutembo SDA Church. East Zambia Field has 14 ordained gospel ministers, 5 not ordained, 7 Bible gospel workers, and 5 retired gospel ministers. Sambo David Chipata is a province.
Well, that story by David Sambo closes our bulletin. Let's take a look at top stories before we go. Over 60,000 farmers in Southern Province suffer setbacks due to prolonged dry spells. CIMIT to supply irrigation and agricultural equipment to farmers in Southern Province. ZICTA concerned over increased number of scammers in the country. Police warn against illegal checkpoints. East Zambia Field ordains 4 gospel workers. On behalf of the entire news production team and crew, my name is MWEENE. Bye for now.